Hello peoples, welcome to the Stoked Bloke Show. It's good to be back. I'm stoked to be back. We're at the Pipeline Studios, Peter PK King and I, courtesy of a New Earth project. And we appreciate all of the work that they do, mate. And this must be and go down as the windiest winter in the history of the North Shore. And I've heard people
lucky
say
we're
that.
inside.
Lucky we're inside. It's howling out there. The wind from the northeast, super strong for the last bunch of days. Every swell, bar two real swells, bar two big ones, arrive with wind this winter.
And you don't do any wind sports? No kite surfing?
No, mate.
No wing foil?
Well, I've had a wing for a couple of years and I've played with it, but I haven't yet got to a proficient stage or had enough time uninjured to put into it. And I think we've both been in the snow in recent times.
Yeah.
I know that you were at Revelstoke, British Columbia, Canada. I was at Big White, British Columbia, Canada, at different times. But how was natural selection? That
Incredible.
I actually watched the finals today on record.
Yeah, those guys are amazing.
Amazing, good event, good times.
Yeah, it was insane. It was life or death for me just getting to the event live to watch it. We had to hike after the top of the chairlift and then navigate through some deep powder through trees. I was with Kai Lenny and he made it much harder than it was because we didn't know where we were going. But as you know, when you fall in powder, there's no getting up.
No.
And it's the hardest thing ever. I don't apparently have a bionic core where I can let me just get right back up.
Or flip the board around. It's a chore. Trying to pad the powder down.
I try and forget the hard parts and just remember the beauty. But yeah, it was insane to watch live, the talent level. But yeah, just somebody drive me on a snowmobile, just like tow me in, just like surfing. Where's the wave runner?
That is a first world problem.
Yeah,
powder. Not being able to get yourself up is what people live for. Those moments to be in it.
Hard.
It's really frustrating, but once you can get that flow and you're on the back foot. And
once you're surfing, it's the best feeling
exactly.
ever.
Yeah. Revelstoke, crazy mountain, huh?
Unbelievable, yeah. And the natural selection event was incredible. The way they put that all together, the way they film it, kind of like nothing I've ever seen for a pro action sports head-to-head competition. So, in the wild, yeah.
And a New Earth project, consulting with them to try and make the event as environmentally sensitive as it possibly be.
Yeah, Travis Rice, who you interviewed right here.
Yes.
He wants it to be sustainable events, and we're the sustainability partner.
There you go.
And that means a lot of things. Also just investing and helping them do the right things to have a low impact through their event. But yeah, it was incredible. We were there with the team and checking it out. And I think we got some takeaways from that we would like to incorporate into professional surfing at some point.
Fantastic. And we're all excited about that point. Marion Haiti from France won the women's and Mikey Cicerelli won the men's.
Wow.
So congratulations to them. Congratulations to Travis and all the team. That was a great event, mate. And a big thank you to our friends, a little less serious an event, our Big White trip, more a family vacation. We had 4 family friends from the North Shore neighbourhood there with us.
You didn't lose anyone?
Never lost anyone. And, one of the things that's so beautiful about where we live in our neighbourhood is that the kids kind of just disappear down the driveway and off to their friends, and you'll get texts from parents going, are the kids at yours? No, they're not at mine. Are they at yours? No, where are the kids? But you always know they're somewhere and they're safe and they're with, and they're in a good environment. At Big White, we had moments where we were all at a restaurant having dinner or whatever, and we'd sort of look at each other and go, I wonder where the kids are. And the kids are out in the snow playing on their own. There's a chair called Plaza Chair that the kids were riding, lapping on their own without their parents. The parents were doing their own laps, so to speak. And it has just this incredible family atmosphere where we were able to feel safe about our children out there living in the snow and having a great time. So big thanks to everyone at Big White. We will be back. That's for sure.
How was the ice in the beard?
The ice in the beard was one of the highlights of life. When I'd get home and it'd be flapping around. And
didn't make you cold?
No, this was like a built-in neck warmer. Normally I've skinny neck. I'd have the neck warmer up. This thing built in, mate. I just didn't feel anything under there.
That's funny.
And it was, to be back snowboarding after spinal surgery. And before we went, there was a pretty big swell, 10 to 15 maybe.
You got some sunset on
And
that swell?
Well, not so much sunset, but I towed that swell and towed into some 12 to whatevers, 15s, and bounced around and then went snowboarding. And I feel like it officially declares my 100% recovery from my spinal surgery.
So now do we go back to the wave pool that did you in?
Yes, exactly what we should do. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back there and revisit that, face the fear of that stationary wave.
The big fear is not 12 to 15 foot toe-ins or fresh powder on the backcountry. It's a 2-foot wave pool on the west side.
Stationary wave, yeah, that crippled me. Mate,
did you watch Bells?
I did watch Bells.
What did you think of Gabriel Medina's comments?
Let's clarify that.
You watched a little bit of Bells.
Yeah, I didn't. And for me, I turn it on, and then other things grab me, and it's in the background. And then when a wave's ridden, you pay attention, and then you go back to what you're doing. I hadn't watched any because we were snowboarding all day, and they had the lifts open till 8 p.m. So we were riding into the evening, into the dark. And so I didn't see a lot. And then I saw Gabriel Medina on social media and went, I've got to have a look at this, haven't I? I've got to see what's going on here.
A big mistake there, letting that wave go under priority. Talk us through it.
I did the mistake.
I went back and had a look at that heat. And again, it was super controversial and contributed to the whole us against them mentality that's existing out there, I suppose, between the Brazilians primarily, and then the organisation, the WSL, and the judges and that whole thing. As I watched that heat, it's Cole Houshman, Gabriel Medina, 2 to 3 foot winky pop, slow, not very good, but they're making it look incredible, and both their surfing performances. I thought Medina's board looked so fluid and fast, and the way it transitions from one turn to the next is just seamless and beautiful. Cole, on the other hand, was a little more radical, a little more erratic, a little more flare in the tail, a little more uncertainty, a bit of drama, a bit of things. So when it came to the surfing, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on the surfing itself. So that part to me was not so much the point. The point to me was the actual air. This is the point to me. Now I'm going to play it for you.
And we're going to watch it.
You have a look at this. Cole's got priority. He's sitting down there. Medina's up there. He's gone deep to try and get an opportunity. Figures I may as well go something. Gets a little hit. Pumps down the line. Builds up so much speed and then lands that thing under priority. And in my mind, I go, that's the best thing of the heat. That had no influence or impact on the heat whatsoever. Wasn't in his best two. And
what was the score? That's normally a 7.5 right there. That's always a 7.5 if you do something like that.
That was a 6.3 win.
No.
That could have easily, in my mind, that's an 8. And it's so beyond anything anyone in our generation was doing that's why it has to be rewarded. That's why things like that, surfing like that, that's the part, wave for wave, score for score, I don't know, they both ripped. And for me too, I don't know that we can differentiate on a screen. You know what I mean? You need to see that stuff in real life to be able to really pull the surfing together. But
I can't believe that wave didn't factor in.
Didn't factor in the heat. It was a 6. That 6, in my mind, is not good for surfing. If they did it, and it's been done before. Jadson, Andre, Miguel Pupo, when they came on tour and were doing the big front-side rotators,
after a while, they dumbed them down.
They went from 10s to nothings, and all of a sudden they started getting more scores for backhand re-entries. And
That's
then
the WSL for you.
And then people won world titles without doing a single air.
No leadership, no constant messaging, no nothing. We know nothing about scoring or judging. They might as well be invisible people that don't exist. There's nobody talking about what a score is within that organization. What a fail.
Right. As in terms of addressing their public relations, and their primary issue in public relations is the most important thing in the sport, which is the judgment of the performance.
You have to explain that to the audience. I know what bowling is. It's how many pins you get down.
Yes.
I know what golf is. It's how many strokes into the hole.
Yeah.
If you have a subjective sport, explain to me why that's not a score. Now, I know Joe Turpel is not able to explain that. He's not even legally allowed to per his contract. He'd be fired. If he had a real opinion or explained that. Nobody is allowed to, as a commentator, to tell us. And we don't hear from the judges. So Gabriel's totally right in saying his whole point about not being able to talk about the judging?
This is the worst judgment I've ever seen, but it's bad for the sport, you know. I know we travel. I've been through a lot of judging things, but maybe I feel like this is the worst one. But it's something that we gotta talk about. We pretend that it's not happening. It's happening, you know. It's bad for the sport, and just hopefully it can improve and get better. Hopefully they listen more to us, you know. But yeah, it is what it is. It's happening.
Yeah, there's not a problem. They don't act like nothing's happening here. Yeah. And again, I don't know, you know, it could be personal, it could not. The ironic thing for me was that weeks before this most recent one, I made a comment on a Brazilian post and said, hey, you know, for me, Gabriel Medina is the most harshly judged person I've ever witnessed in watching the sport. And I believe that in the years I've watched. I don't feel like he's been given too many. He's worked really hard, and he's been, you know, there's been ones like that one where I see this progression of the sport and the future of the sport being held back for reasons that feel emotional rather than practical, and that to me was the best thing in the heat. And so that's the point, is where are we going? So if we looked at that heat.
I've seen him on the receiving end of bad scoring.
Yeah, and
I have.
Yeah, and
so whether he's right or wrong on the scores of that heat, it is true that we're just not allowed to talk about judging,
yes,
apparently.
And that's a good point. Well, let's not talk about it then.
Okay.
Oh, bullshit.
We're not allowed?
Let's talk about it. No, you know. And
how much
again,
should judges get paid?
Well, it should be the highest paid job in the sport.
It should be the most important thing.
It is the most important thing, and it should be, from a cultural and, you know, historical respect point of view, it should be for elders. Immediate elders, not elders of transitional time where they
Recent
can't comprehend. I can't comprehend degrees of difficulty of what Italo and Gabriel do.
You do a
know?
great job when you're judging the shootout. You're a good judge. It's just a tough job. You don't want it. That's why you keep saying you're not good at it. He doesn't want to be hired.
I can't do that. How can I judge it if I can't do it?
Because you know you can't do it, so you know it's hard.
So it's really hard.
You can tell that the other waves in the heat, I did that in 1988 and won, but you look at that and you go, I could never do that. So that must be radical. Then you look at the replay and you see that he's upside down. You know there's a difference of being completely upside down or being a flat helicopter spin.
Yes.
You could figure it out.
Yes.
I could coach you to be a judge really easy.
Yeah.
And you're a former world champ. That's who should be judges. But you're saying recent pros just coming off tour should be slotted into that position.
They
should be a prestigious position too.
Yes.
Huh?
Oh, we'll fix that.
Yeah.
We'll have opportunities to fix those things in the future. So, Bells Beach, the winners. Now let's go to the good stuff as well, you know.
Congrats.
2% final there. Cole Houshman up against his mate Griffin. And Griffin Crosby had a heat earlier in the event together for the first time. And so there was a lot of incredible stuff. Griffin is on a mature centred tear up the rankings with consistency and deliberate management of the way he's surfing, the way he's competing. And all around him, those guys are feeding off it, and Kalohe's at home cheering him on, and the thing's moving.
I can't believe Kalohe and Dino is not on tour, not even on the Challenger Series.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But he looks like he's having fun. He's got his kids, you know, it's a beautiful thing.
2% for sure.
And
he's their spiritual leader. So there's an American storm, isn't there?
There literally is a Californian storm?
Yeah.
You know, at this point in time, San Clemente Storm, you know, where it's really coming out of that area.
It's bound to happen out of that area, right?
Well, you would think at some point in generational change they're going to have their moment in time, because it's such an important, influential area. Now you extend down to Oceanside and Katie Simmers winning the women's, and you know it's got to be said she got given a gift. The backhand Joanne Defay going for back-to-back wins. They're in the final. The thing's counting down. There's a minute to go or whatever. Joanne's got priority. Katie comes in from the buoy. A set arrives. Katie's paddling for the first one. Joanne goes the first one to stop her, or it might have been the second of the actual set, and goes to stop her, and it just closes out obviously and immediately. And you're thinking to yourself, oh no, she didn't need to go that. She needed Katie to go that way. Let her go, Katie go that, gets the closeout, she wins bells. She goes to get suckered into the first one, goes and it closes out, and behind it is the way she needs. and she just performs in a complete casual way and just finishes up on the inside and wins the bell, and really got given the bell at the end there through a strategic mistake by Joanne. But she's on a tear, and
6 out of the top 10 men are Californians,
and members of board riders.
and they're board rider members.
So let's review the top 5. Women: Katie Simmers, Joanne DeFay in second, Molly Picklum third, Caroline Marks still there right in fourth. Good place to be as a defending champ, not out in the front. And so she's in good form. And then Betty Lou Sakura Johnson in fifth. In the men, we've got Griff in first, which we think's pretty amazing. Ethan Ewing backed it up down there at Bells with another good result. He's in second. John Florence is right there in third. Sneaky. It feels like you haven't seen the best of him, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Well,
Margaret
here comes
River.
his event,
Here
right?
comes his event, and he's
his.
stalking back in there in a perfect place. And Jake Marshall, the surprise package
That's
of the
cool.
top, contributing towards the Californian momentum and time on that tour. So another one we hadn't thought, and Jack Robbo hanging in there in fifth. So
Dangerous also in West House. I think that cut line, I bet those numbers are all real close.
You know what I was
It's
gonna
been
say?
real close all year.
let's not talk about it because we don't like it.
We
So
hate
let's
the
not
cut.
give that. We talked about not talking about judging, but the cut. I didn't even look at the cut because I went, it's just like a dark cloud over a good moment in time, you
Yeah.
know. But they're at Margaret River, and then they're on to Chopu, and then they're on to El Salvador, and somewhere along the way people get dropped. That's just the way it is. But
Did you know there's a new CEO announced today for WSL?
yeah, I did not know that. I didn't get a call, so it ain't me. We know. Are you? While you're looking, I've got a good little story for you.
Yeah, go.
You know, when you as a competitor, you were looking for rhythm and signs of rhythm, and the rhythm was with the ocean in a heat, and feeling like the waves are coming to you in the right place at the right time, and you've got that flow and rhythm to your performance. And I suppose in a scientific name, they call it flow state nowadays, and you're always kind of looking for those signs. And when we were in Big White on the third day, I tried a new board. It did something I didn't anticipate and threw me onto my rib and really hurt my rib to the point where I thought, I don't know if I'm going to be able to snowboard for the rest of the trip. What have I done to myself? Torture. And I was in this whole management process, still am, of this rib thing. And but I was able to ride every day. But we go on this run at Black Forest, and it's called Ogopogo, which is like a snake run through the thing, and it's kind of on an icier day, and there's not much on top. It's real icy, and it lines like, we're going in, don't take me in there. I'm barely standing on my snowboard. And I get in there, and I'm struggling my way through the snake run. He's flying off. Holly's coming down behind, and I just stop because I'm scared I'm going to do more damage. So I pull to the side, and I kneel down on the snow. I wait for Holly to come in. As I look down between my legs, there on this mountain is what I think is $5 Canadian sitting in the snow.
Score.
No, but it was $50 Canadian.
Which is how much US, how much Australian?
Well, same in Australia, pretty much, 50 Aussie, about that. And so of all of that mountain, the whole giant mountain of where I could have stopped, I stopped at that moment right with $50 Canadian between my legs, which is just the needle in the haystack. And one of those ones that just made me go, I'm meant to be here. I am where I'm meant to be right now.
Did you find more money? You're like Mario in
Yes.
Super Mario looking for coins.
Yeah,
Did you see
exactly.
any blocks above your head?
No more, the next day.
$50. Imagine what you could buy with that. Half a sandwich.
The next day I changed some US into Canadian, and by the time I got home I was counting. I'm going, I think I'm 50 short. Did I lose that 50 again? But that was one of them examples of when you get the signs from your life and from your decisions, and you get to kind of decide whether you're in the right place or the wrong place and aligning with your destiny or not. And when I did that and that $50 was sitting between my legs, I went, you're right where you're meant to be, my friend. Enjoy it. In other
I got his
news-
name.
Yes, what is his name?
His name is Ryan Crosby. And Ryan Crosby
Let's write that
is
down.
currently the head of global publishing for a company called Riot Games.
yeah?
And I know personally the owner of Riot Games.
Oh,
Interesting. Yep.
wow. Welcome, Ryan Crosby. Do good work.
Well,
The product's unbelievable.
Welcome to the WSL. I think he can read, then he knows the concerns of the fan base. Mm-hmm. And I know that the upper brass, friends of ours that you and I both know well, have had recent meetings with head people at WSL. And internally, they completely admit they know what's wrong.
This sounds like
I'm looking
another
to unload
attempt.
some debt. Do you have any? Where do you unload it? Is there a dump for debt?
There is.
Where do I drop off
It's
the credit
called
cards?
the government. Just add your debt to the government's debt, and you won't have to pay
Where do I
it
drop
back.
these off? And they get paid for. You got this?
Listen, what is that? Visa. Swing it over here. We'll get some more merchandise. Want some? Stoked Bloke
You
merchandise?
found 50
I'd
Canadian
never get
dollars,
around to
eh?
do
I
it.
found a Costco card. I'm pretty sure it's worth $200.
Really?
Yeah.
In your where? Gift someone gave
Yeah,
it
it
to
was a
you?
gift, and I found it later. I was like,
They're good gifts. They come out, those ones, don't
yeah,
they?
Costco's good.
Another amazing gift, I reckon, is that Nathan Florence joins his brother John
Wow, how cool
at
is that?
Florence.
That's very cool.
Bravo, mate.
I mean, you got the best surfer in the world and his brother, who might be the most entertaining free surfer in the world,
Yeah.
coming together. I don't know
Both
how that
mental.
translates to sales, but that's a pretty cool.
And it's
Merger, right?
and for us,
Feels good.
the entrepreneurial spirit of the new generation.
Yeah.
I like that. What they have they have an in-house investing competition between them to see who invests in a year period and makes the most money.
Yeah, well, that's not at the company, but that's
No, not
with
at the
a group
company,
of
but
friends.
with a
yeah,
group of friends.
With Bad Boy Rai Rai and Zor,
Kelly.
Nathan, John, Kelly, Shane.
So
Yeah.
these guys have an internal little annual event where they see who makes the most money investing their dough in a period of 12 months and wins whatever. I think that it's beyond my comprehension because we're all way too wayward, sideward, not connected to that financial opportunity that presented itself to us. We should have been. That was our great mistake. There weren't many people that came out of our generation who did well. Ended up, there's a few, but not many. And then the
Some
next
came
generation.
out with jobs, but not a lot came out with
Yeah,
investments.
and a lot of return to surfboard manufacturing and doing surfboards as a way of making a living longer term. And it's ain't easy, I'll tell you, to pay the bills on a monthly basis. So to see that entrepreneurial spirit in the new generation, the understanding of the opportunity and seizing that opportunity and turning it into something more, I just wish, that's fantastic, mate. I just want to join in and be a part of all of that is so positive in creating freedom and opportunity for them and their families. And then Big Brother brings the little brother in, and two of the most entertaining, mental, little bit sideways of normal, but super talented.
Those are two surfers that are going to go on any slab, right?
Oh, they're incredible. They're mental, aren't they?
Now they're really going to be pushing each other, I think.
Yeah, there's
More so
great
than
things
ever.
ahead for those guys. So congratulations to Florence. Thanks for tuning in, peoples. We'll be doing more shows. Listen, the big question for this man is, when you review some of the guests that we've had, I was thinking this today, Kai Lenny, Bethany Hamilton, Travis Rice, nothing but the best on the Stoked Bloke Show so far.
More to
Where's
come.
Kelly Slater, mate? Where is
Soon.
his story?
Soon.
We've got to come in the interview shot. He's got it in the can.
It's just
there's a lot of talk. in
You
it.
two talked for too long.
It
It's
must be
2
torture.
hours.
Is it torture to try and
It's
figure
brutal.
what's
I mean,
of
we got-
value?
Some of that stuff goes back to '95. I mean, we're in the woods.
Do you want me to listen to it and
No.
say, cut some of this, cut that?
No, I'll get it. I'll get it. The editing's coming. Yeah, it just
The
takes
people
time.
are hungry.
The people are going to get it.
All right. Thank you, brother.
right.
All right, peoples. Big thank you to A New Earth Project, the Pipeline Studios, and especially you guys for tuning in. Tell your friends. Share it out there. We want to share the Stoke. Barton, Lynch, Peter King, signing off. Thank you.